Hello, Clement229 here, another Topic of the Week video. And this week I'll be talking about some of Korra's extra powers that she got over the course of the show. This week's topic was submitted by a Tumblr anon, and their topic is Korra's extra powers, such as her power boost post the loss of her past lives, her metal bending, her spirit vine's GPS-esque abilities, and her ability to bend in spirit, imperative to the character in the story, or just for show. It's just for show. That's really all you need to say about it. Okay. Let me go into a little bit more detail. Korra got a lot of powers, and they're just for show. Like I said, they're just for show. Legend of Korra overall is a show that is 100% style over substance. That so much of the show boils down to this. The whole thing with, Amon and the Equalists, well, it was just boiled down to a fighter. Just a basic fight. In fact, they completely eschewed any of the actual political elements by just going, Amon's a bender, so, well, forget about it. And then they completely swept it under the rug and be like, well, we have a non-bending president now with Raiko, who we also treat badly in the show. So all the problems are gone. Okay, you introduce all these huge, deep, interesting political aspects of the show and then do nothing with them and then ignore them? Yeah, it's something that happens over the course of the show. I mean, at the end of Book 2, when the final big battle is between Korrazilla in her giant spirit form versus the Dark Avatar merged with the Spirit of Darkness, and they're fighting in the Bay of Republic City for the fate of the world. I can't even talk about that with a straight face because it's so ridiculous and it's so stupid, and it's not even like and it's not even like what Aang did, where Aang got the power of the ocean sphere with the koi, and he turned into Koizilla. No. Korra just searches, and I think she goes and sits in that tree and she's just searches inside herself. Yeah, trying to make any sense of that finale is ridiculous. Even Brian and Mike can't make sense of that finale. They don't even know what the hell Jinora did. No, she turns into a gigantic spirit version of herself and has a big kaiju-style fight. And then Jinora uses some sort of magical powers that have never been seen then before or again, and something. Why? Well, it looks cool. That's all that matters. In Book 4, the big finale. Oh, it's Kuvira as a gigantic mech? Well, we'd seen mechs in the show, but none of that big, and a giant spirit cannon. Shh. It looks cool. That's all you're supposed to think about. And that's so much of the show, and all of the stuff really goes down to Korra's abilities. Korra gets powers not because they serve the story, but because they're doing this in lieu of characterization or development. Korra gets these powers because, hey, look how cool she is. She can metal bend. Aang couldn't do that, even though it doesn't really make sense that Aang never learned to metal bend. I mean, sure, it's not as imperative during the course of Avatar: The Last Airbender, but I would think that at some point he'd be like, hey, Toph, can you teach me how to metal bend? I mean, Toph did start a metal bending school. If we're going to go by the promise, which that only makes sense, that evolved into the metal bending police force. So, well, guess what? Brian and Mike need to do everything possible to make Korra look better than Aang, even going so far as to crap on Aang's character, and to discount Avatar: The Last Airbender as a whole. Because they were so desperate, and they had no options, because Legend of Korra is a crappy show. It always has been. But they don't have any way to actually justify saying that Korra is better than Aang, other than by crapping on Aang, or for artificially elevating Korra. She has metal bending. Cool. She does this, one thing I do want to talk about here is the spirit water bending thing from Book 2. Because when I was watching Book 2, I was so baffled at that. Like, okay, what exactly is that? One of my biggest problems here is that they don't explain this. If this was some sort of healing ability mixed with traditional water bending and they're using this to calm the spirits, I guess that's what it is. That's kind of what I was sort of, trying to get from it. But they don't explain this. And This is a big problem, is that they don't actually explain what's going on in the show, really. A lot of things will happen. And it's not like Unalak sits there and talks to Korra and it's like, have you ever healed? And he says like, oh, this is like healing. But, you know, you need to focus on the spirits or something. Anything really would have been better than what we got, which was, frankly, nothing. But then at some point, Korra just starts doing it. I mean, granted, I do give them credit that she failed that first time she tried. But Unalak didn't actually teach her this, and Korra just started doing it. Why? Because it looks cool. And that's really all you can really sum this up as. I mean, even with her power boost from her losing her past lives, even though logically speaking, how the avatar state functions, it's supposed to be the combination of the powers and knowledge of all avatars previously into the current avatar. Except in Legend of Korra, the avatar state is just a power boost that Korra uses. And it's so infuriating because it's not even like it being weaker as a plot point, really. That's super important. It's just weaker overall. Even when Korra activates the Korra just gets the avatar state at the end of book 1, just having it handed to her, and then then she abuses it because, well, she's Korra. And then, in book 2, her past lives are either killed or she's cut off from them or something. Of course, book 2 has a lot of, well, something happened in it. But Korra doesn't suffer any significant power downgrade. And shoot, even the loss of her past lives, if I remember correctly from book 3, is only mentioned like once in the beginning. But she doesn't even, like, if Korra had tried to reconnect to her past lives and maybe did it at the end of the season, and she got this huge power from the avatar state, that would actually be cool. And it actually would have been really neat if her avatar state did nothing, because she doesn't have any power to build on. But I guess it's supposed to be pulling directly from Rava, even though if you're going by what book 2 was establishing, Rava was uber weak during the flashbacks, and that's why she had to merge with Juan. But now she can give enough power to, make up for the lack of all previous avatars. And you're telling me that, Korra is the only one who found out about Rava, and that she's pulling directly from the source, as I've seen a lot of people try to explain this? Really? I don't buy it. It's just lazy. Brian and Mike wanted the angst, and they wanted to emotionally manipulate the audience into being upset over losing the past avatars, because we as an audience who watched Avatar The Last Airbender have connection to them, but Korra doesn't. So, Korra doesn't care. Korra doesn't lose any power, so why should she care? That's all she really cares about is how strong she is, really. So they just make up for that, and it's infuriating because it's wiping away the one true consequence that this would really have that would directly affect Korra. But nope, she gets the special power because it looks cool, and she can't actually face any true problems in the show. I mean, shoot, even when she's crippled in book 3, book 4 starts, boom, she's back up on her feet because, well, she's Korra, and she can't really face anything, and all of her PTSD is solved by pulling poison metal out of her. I get a headache sometimes thinking about Legend of Korra. But all these powers that she gets, and GPS Vine stuff, this is stuff that's just there to look cool. That's it. I could say this so many times. I've probably mentioned this numerous times in videos. There's so much in Legend of Korra that's just there to look cool, and it's just there to prop Korra up. Korra gets metal bending because, well, metal bending is cool and people like metal bending. So if Korra can metal bend, then that makes people like her more, right? Break logic. And it's a shame that they were going so far out of their way to not give Korra real development, because that's all this was. It's just to do this so they don't have to develop her. I mean, if they give her more powers, then people will like her, right? Because Aang having powers is why people liked him, right? No, it's not. It's because he's a well-developed and interesting and complex character that people can relate to, look up to, and appreciate. Korra is none of these things. Just tossing powers onto her are just superficial band-aids to the core issue, is that she's not a well-written character. And frankly, no one is in Legend of Korra, unfortunately. Even the good characters. Because they all got crapped on at some point in the show. So, yeah. It's a shame. It's really a shame. Korra could have been such an interesting character, and Legend of Korra could have been an interesting show had good writers actually been writing in charge of the show. And Korra was... It'd be great if Korra was actually developed instead of just having powers tossed on her to make her look cool. Well, that's about it for today. If you want to submit a topic to me, you can either comment below on YouTube, or if you're on Tumblr, send me an ask and do topic : whatever topic you want me to talk about. Just make sure to follow the rules that I'll be posting down below. If you want to watch last week's topic video, you can check that out here. If you want to watch next week's topic video, you can check that out here when I get that done. And thank you for watching.